the last couple years in the Big 12, they've been talking about realignment and potentially breaking up the conference, but the last year or so, there's been less of that. Have you noticed that? Do you think the strength of the conference has gotten better? And do you think the championship game has helped or hurt the strength of the conference? Mace III, I'll start with you.
So you're basically asking me, is the championship game good or bad? Is that?
Well, I'm asking, where do you see the conference right now? Do you think it's a strong conference, the Big 12?
Not really. I mean, it's not the strongest. It's not. I hate to say that, but it's not the SEC. But I think possibly it can be strong, but it's not the strongest right now.
I don't think the championship game is like the greatest thing, honestly, because sometimes you can knock right. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but you can knock each other out of certain games, right? Like
so last year was a good example, right? So it was OU versus TCU. They had already played each other. OU had beaten TCU previously. If TCU would have beat OU, there's a good chance the Big 12 would have been left out of the Final Four. But OU won, so it didn't come into play. But yes, you're right. If there's a chance that it could, the Big 12 championship game could hurt the conference as opposed to help the conference.
Right. I mean,
and you gotta play in this league. You gotta play everybody.
Yeah.
You gotta play everybody every year. And whereas some of the other leagues, you get one year you might get a weaker schedule. You know what I'm saying?
I tend to disagree with you though. I think the Big 12 conference was pretty strong last year, and I think it's stronger than most of the other conferences. I mean, just look at the SEC. You brought up the SEC. The SEC was pretty down last year. And people will point, when I get into this argument with people, they point to, well, there were 2 SEC schools in the Final Four. Yeah, but those were the only 2 good teams in the SEC. If you look at the breakdown, Georgia and Alabama. Would you disagree with that?
No, Alabama's always there. That's all they have.
Alabama's always going to be there.
Well, I mean, are you asking me, are there better teams? What about A&M's a good team? LSU, Auburn. I don't know how you're comparing.
A&M was 4-4 in the conference last year, 7-6 overall.
True, but look at the conference they play in.
Okay, the conference they play in is Auburn. Auburn had a terrible loss last year. Alabama.
But what was their overall record?
They were 7-1 in the conference.
Mm-hmm.
I lost their overall record. And they were 10-4 overall after everything.
That's pretty good.
Okay, but they also play teams in the East too. Tennessee was 0-8 in the conference. Vanderbilt 1-7. Florida 3-5. Kentucky 4-4. Missouri 4-4. And Missouri was a bad 4-4.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Up and down, the Big 12 is pretty good, but I don't know if you put an Auburn against a West Virginia.
I think that would be a fight. I don't think that would be an easy win at all for Auburn. Do you?
I think Auburn would probably win, but I agree with you. It'd be a fight.
But a comparison. I mean, that's a better comparison would be an Auburn versus Oklahoma State.
Yeah, Auburn wins that.
What makes you say that?
I don't know. Just
because basically because of the front lines. The defensive and offense. That's the thing. That's the problem with the Big 12 sometimes is they do good, but then when they get with these teams that have these big kids, this offensive line that are strong and 5-star kids, they struggle a little. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree to a point, but you look at TCU, they usually do pretty well against the SEC. You look at Oklahoma, they actually do really well against the SEC. They should have beat Georgia last year. They blew that game. What were they up 30? They were up like 28 points in the Rose Bowl, weren't they, against Georgia?
Yeah,
they completely blew it. So I don't think it's as much of a gap as what you think.
No, I'm not saying it's a big gap, but I do. If I had to rank it, I mean, if you had to rank it, wouldn't you rank the SEC over the Big 12 right now?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Yes, I'm just saying that I don't think it's as much as a gap as everybody.
No,
says
I agree with you.